So, good evening. Although Sandra's watching from Dubai. No idea what time it is in Dubai, but good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever anybody is tuning in from anywhere in the world. Thank you so much for being here. Means the world. It's just gone 9 o'clock here in the UK. We were just saying before we went live. It's very, very hot. The heat coming off my computer right now and the heat of just all this equipment is ridiculous. Hopefully, it's not going to melt before 10 p.m. UK time. So we're going to have a good sort of 57 minutes chat right now. If you hear if you hear live, means the world. If you are watching on the replay or you are listening on the Acts on This TV audio experience, drop me a tweet as always at Act on This TV. I want to know where you are listening from. Always fascinates me, what people are doing when they tune into this sort of stuff. If it's whilst they're in the gym, walking the dog, on the way to an audition, which is happening now. It's Freedom Day, apparently. I don't think they should have called it that here in the UK. It's midnight in Dubai. Burning the midnight oil for an Act on This broadcast. Stick around, it'll be worth it. What's Freedom Day been like for everybody? All right or what? I think it's dangerous calling it Freedom Day. I had to go and get a new phone, right? Only because I've got an iPhone 10. I don't like to get the latest gear, a couple of years behind, but it's been getting so hot, it's literally been sort of like melting and turning off. I thought, I've got to go and get a new phone, so I had to take a trip out to the Trafford Centre. People are not wearing masks anymore. People are not adhering to any kind of social distancing. It's almost like they forgot anything ever happened. It scared me a little bit. I was double jabbed today. Got my second Pfizer today, and I'm not taking my mask off for a while. Let us know. I mean, horses for courses, isn't it? Everybody's got their own opinion on it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm quite ready to get out in the world again and it just all be normal and nothing matter. Went to Costa this morning. They've taken up the stickers off the floor that told you to stand 2 meters apart. It's a little bit scary. Liz says she's avoided everywhere today, stayed in the garden. Liz, that is good. That is good advice for everybody. And Sandra Forster, who's in Manchester from Germany, is still isolating until Friday, feeling quite safe. Yeah, stay isolating from it, Sandra. It's turned into a little bit of a bonkers day. Never mind Freedom Day, just a little bit of a crazy day. But hopefully, yeah, people will still. A lot of people are still cautious and still looking after each other, which is good. Tonight we are going to be talking about lots of stuff. Obviously, I'm going to be taking your questions just as we go. I want to recap on last week's member-only Mastermind session for Acts on This members that we held. If I go over to the website, we held with BAFTA Elevate actress Melissa Johns. Melissa's just wicked. It was such a good session. Here's Melissa. I've titled this, When Life Punches You in the Face, Punch Back, with Grantchester actress Melissa Johns. Not just Grantchester, Melissa's done loads and loads of incredible TV shows, but life has punched her in the face plenty of times, and she's very resilient and she's very good at getting back up and hitting back from all kinds of things. Melissa lives with a disability. She was born with one arm. She's got she's right forearm and hand is missing, which is enough adversity at the best of times. But the acting industry, not a particularly welcoming place, or hasn't been in the past. For people with all minorities really, whether it's disability, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, basically anything that's not just in inverted commas completely normal. The acting industry is a tough place at the best of times when you have other things sort of causing barriers. It can be even tougher. But Melissa came on and spoke really vulnerably and really honestly about lots of things in her life. Even one time when her phone was hacked and intimate pictures were leaked from her phone, which, destroyed her for a little bit, but how, as it would anybody, you don't want those kind of things out there. But then talks about, how she owned that, really took responsibility, took accountability. She turned it into a one-woman show that actually will preview at the Lowry. I think it might be really soon, within the next few weeks. I don't know. I can't remember what she said. But if you want to watch it, we're gonna go over some of the clips this evening. But if you want to watch the full 2-hour chat with Melissa, get yourself over to actsonthis.tv. You can watch a little preview of it there. But if you're a member of the website, and if you're not, why not get your membership. You get to join sessions with us every single week with top casting directors, agents, actors, writers, and producers and directors. Just basically top people in TV. You should get your membership. You will get to join those every single week. And if you are a member, you'll find Melissa's session at the top in the members area there, where it says our latest 5 features. Don't forget, taking all the ones we've had recently. We've had some wicked guests on. Johnny Weldon, sort of Twitter video king, was on the week before Melissa. We had Mildred Yen from United Agents. We had Wendy Scazzaro from Felix the Wolf. The week before, we had Stephen Graham and the cast of Time. The week before that, there's some awesome stuff on there. If you've not checked it out and you're a member, get stuck in. And if you're not a member, come and join the community. actonthis.tv/live. Let us know if you were on that session with Melissa, what you thought of it. I'm going to play out some clips now. We spoke about so much, so I've only chosen. I mean, I've got like 4 2-minute clips, I think, here. So there's a good 2 hours of it over on the website. But the first clip that I've chosen was a story Melissa told about what I preach about all the freaking time, and yet I still don't think people. I get emails from people every day still questioning: should I do this? Should I do that? Can I reach out to this casting director? Should I send them this? Should I send them that? The answer from me is always yes. You don't need to ever ask anyone else's permission to reach out to a professional within the TV industry. Ultimately, to make contact, to make connection, to add value, to show your work, to look for opportunity. You should absolutely be reaching out to casting directors on a regular basis. We bring them on the site every single week practically, and they all say, in 12 years of me doing this, there's never been a casting director who has come on and said, no, don't email me if you're an actor. And yet, actors want to convince themselves that it's not the done thing, that they're not allowed to do it, to keep themselves safe, I think. That's just my observation of actors in this industry. They will make up some bullshit practical reason for why they can't do it, where it's not that reason at all. It's just because they're afraid, or they don't believe in what they're going to send. They don't think the stuff they're going to send is good enough, their reel's good enough. They've got all these hang-ups. And this story initially just shows you the power of keeping in touch with casting directors. Yes, you don't want to be messaging the same stuff every week. You want to be writing with new stuff when you've got new headshots, you've changed agents, you've got a new scene on your show reel, you've shot a TV show, you're going to be on TV, you're doing a show, you want to invite them along. Listen to this. This is how Melissa effectively got the job, really, that kind of put her on the map, through behind-the-scenes hustle, keeping in touch with a particular casting director in the industry. Check it out. I'll be back with you in 2 minutes.
I met the brilliant Jenny Radcliffe, who is obviously casting director at Corrie.
Yep.
And at the end of that day, Jenny said to me, Melissa, it's been so lovely to meet you. Please do keep in touch. In this industry, people really do mean that. When someone says keep in touch, keep in touch. Like, don't make a nuisance of yourself. Of course not.
Not every day.
Not every day, every other.
Yeah.
But when you have something to say it. And that's what I would do. So I would wait until I knew I had something really rich that I wanted people to know. So I would get that mail out ready. And over the course of the next couple of years, 2-3 years, I emailed Jenny every time I had something going on. So, I'm doing this. Even if it was like a little scratch night, something like that, I would just let her know. And when I got my show reel updated, I sent her my show reel as hey, I've got my updated show reel. What you need to do is really find those rich nuggets of things that are like, oh, this is a good thing that's happened to me. Yep. I'm going to use this in my email to send to everybody. So you're not making a nuisance of yourself, but you are just letting them know when something in your career has changed. So I kept in touch with Jenny, and then when I decided to do the move to Manchester, I let her know, and I just said, look, it's not that I've got a job. I'm just letting you know that I'm moving to Manchester. Thanks for being part of my decision, because my few times up here have been great. And fast forward to 2017. I was in LA. I'd won a fitness competition, which, all that's gone out the window now. But I'd won a fitness competition, and I was in bed, and my agent rang me at like 3 a.m. And I remember it so clearly because she said, oh my God, darling, I forgot you're in LA. Gosh, sorry. And I said, no, it's fine. Are you okay? She said, yes. You've been casting Coronation Street. And I just could not believe it. I could not believe it. And it turns out that, because I kept saying to her, I haven't even auditioned for this. What's going on? And it turns out that Jenny had gone up to Tim, who was the director for that block. And he said, no, don't get her in for an audition. Ring her agent up and offer her the part.
actonthis.tv/live if you want to get a membership and get involved in these chats every single week, and you will unlock the full 2-hour chat with Melissa, plus about 400 hours of further content as well. But there you go. Melissa kept in touch with Jenny Radcliffe over the space of about 18 months, 2 years, I think it was. Just consistent updates, nothing too overbearing, nothing crazy. And then, boom, she ended up with like 12 episodes of Coronation Street that really kind of put her on the map as well, because she got an awful lot of press coverage from that, from a disability standpoint and disabled actors. And she got a bit of a platform to be able to speak about that kind of stuff, which then led to more work and more work and more work. And she didn't have to audition for that role because she had just kept up to date with the casting directors, had always, shown their work, shown them her work, and opportunity, just came knocking. So it just shows you, if you're not doing it, you are hurt. You're literally hurting your career. You are hurting your career. And it doesn't mean you send, just a load of shit every couple of weeks or whatever, and you just, it's obviously got to be quality, quality stuff. If you produce one decent showreel scene every quarter, you get your headshots taken once a year. You get new headshots. Maybe you've landed a new agent. Maybe you've got your first agent. Whatever it is, you're going to put on a show. Fingers crossed. Now things are getting a little bit back to normal. As I said at the start, I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced myself. I will not be going out an awful lot until things get even better. But yeah, you should be reaching out and keeping in touch with people. You never know where it's going to lead to. Helen says I need a plan, which casting directors to approach, who's working on what, etc. So Helen, what you need to do is you need to work backwards from where you fit. This is the thing. It's like, until you know exactly what you want, Helen, it's impossible, because you'll just be doing the same thing as the other, I don't know, 20, 30, 40,000 actors out there who are just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. When you actually go, right, I'm gonna really figure myself out. Who am I? Like, who am I? Sincerely ask yourself, look at your headshot. Look at, where you fit into the industry. What is your casting type? What is your age, your ethnicity, your gender, the jobs that it looks like you could do? Where do those roles crop up in which shows? And then, does your showreel align with that? Is your headshot even aligned with that? Are you selling yourself as something that you actually aren't? And I've nearly fallen into that trap myself. I've chosen headshots in the past where I've gone, oh, yeah, I look good in that. It's a bit edgy, a bit mean. And then I'm like, no, it's not what I am, though. I can look like that in one frame of a shot. It's not who I am when I walk in the room. I'm misselling myself. Is it all congruent? Does it align? And then you can say, right, okay, well, these are the shows where that would fit. And then the casting directors of those shows. And then you can work backwards from there and go, right, what do I need to put in front of these casting directors in order to pique their attention enough to get a shot at a self-tape? It's really easy when you look at it like that. But you've got to get specific. So few people get specific. And I bang on about it every single week. Every day. Every single day. And I see 2% of people acting on it. And I see those 2% of people booking work consistently. So put it into action. I promise you it works. It just freaking works. Caitlin said, I need to hear something like that today. She is lovely. Melissa's ace. Honestly, she's so good. Definitely. So Helen, you put there, I guess I should target the casting directors that work on the kind of stuff I'm interested in. Yes, if the stuff you are interested in is congruent with actually, where you're at in your career right now and the sort of stuff you see yourself fitting like a glove. I'd love to be Superman. I don't think there's a lot of point in me pursuing that just yet with the credits that I have. But dream big though. Never say never. But for me, it's just about working. It's just about actually, you know what? I'm really happy as well to just do, even just the cameo type stuff, where I'll have 2 scenes, 3 scenes, I might get 20 lines in the whole thing, something like that. Because it's just sort of like, I want to work consistently. And I love those jobs, to be honest with you, because you go in and you film for 2 days or something like that. You have zero stress, zero responsibility, really. You have a lovely time, you get well paid, and then you get to go, right, see you later. I like diving in, diving out. But yeah, have a look at where you fit in the industry. And then it's easy, because I say it all the time, the first and the last name of your customer. It's one of the only industries in the world where you actually know the first and last name of your customer. In any other industry, very few do you know that. In the acting industry, you are gifted with that. You know which casting director cast the show that you fit like a glove, and then it's just a matter of selling them your skills. Tony Rossi, how you doing? All the way from the States. I hope you are well, mate. Second clip I want to play from Melissa. Oh, just regarding agents, I can't speak. It's too bloody hot. I've had about 3 emails in the last 2 days. One literally just before I went live tonight, actually. And an Instagram message from someone that I won't mention the name of this person, but it sounds to me like their agent, the relationship with their agent is absolutely. Well, I don't think there is one. This person's agent wouldn't even give them access to their own spotlight. The actor was like, my agent will not give me even the link to my own spotlight CV so I can market myself. And like, that's a level of control that I've never, ever heard of. And it sounds absolutely mental. If you don't, if as an actor, if you're on Spotlight and you don't even know the link to your own Spotlight profile, that is not within your agent's interest. Like, it just sounds absolutely bizarre. But these are, if you're not careful, the kind of relationships you end up in with agents. If you sign with the first one who will have you, and I always say, don't a lot of people will settle for, and people do this in life, in their relationships, in all relationships, but they will settle for anything in order to say they have something, because they feel better about saying they have an agent than saying they don't, even if the agent is dog shit. So this clip that I'm going to play you from Melissa now is just talking about agents. And Melissa's got a fantastic relationship with her agent, Nikki. But it's not that that's rare. It's just I don't know a lot of actors who have a really, really solid relationship with their agent. My relationship with both my voiceover agent and my acting agent is really good. I'm really grateful for that. But I have been with agents in the past where my relationship has been poor. I mean, like where I've been made to feel like I was taking up too much of their time when I was calling them or I was asking them questions, and they would try to fob me off just to get me off the phone. And sometimes you know that in your heart and you know it in your head, and actually your head and your heart are aligned. You really shouldn't be in that relationship. But for fear of then not being able to say you have something, you won't leave that agency. I did this for probably 18 months too long. Luckily, at the very start of my career, just after I left drama school, I'd been with an agent from when I was a kid. They were more of an extras agency, really. They got me a little bit of work, and I'm just super loyal. I'm too bloody loyal. I stayed with them when I graduated drama school, and then I was like, right, come on, let's go. What are we going to do? I've graduated, I've got this degree. I'm trained now. And they were just like, yeah, well, I remember they phoned me up and went, would you want to do some walk-on work on Hollyoaks next week? I was like, nah, I've just spent 15 grand on a degree for 3 years. Like, I was doing that before I did my degree. Like, I want to crack at auditioning for full-on roles now. And they would just sounded like they wanted to get me off the phone, and they weren't interested. They just were interested in just making a little bit of money. So I stayed with them too long, but I eventually got out. I sent a letter actually back in the day. It was kind of before email, just going, basically, here's everything that I don't think's working. See you later. Because I was still a bit scared to get on the phone. I was only about 21. I didn't have the guts to get on the phone and go, right, that's it, I'm out. But ultimately, you might be in that position where you don't feel things are good. Richard Haler from Miami, how you doing, mate? And Michelle, thanks for being here as well. So this is really just a bit of self-reflection for you on going, if you have got that voice and it's been there, for me, it's got to be there on more than 3 occasions. This is anything in my life, actually. It's a bit of a rule of thumb. If I think about doing something, say I'm going to buy something, it might be a big purchase. And I think, you might be being a bit impulsive there, Ross. That's a lot of money. Just think about it. If, say, like a week later, I'm still like, I can't get that out of my head. I go, right, okay. If it comes up one more time, you really, really want it. You've got to, that's it. Full on permission. It's meant to be in your life. Go get it. And it's the same if I'm not sure about something. I won't just have a knee-jerk reaction. If something's in my head and I'm thinking something's not working or something's getting to me, I'll just let it sort of marinate for a little bit. And then if it comes up again, I'm like, no, there's that feeling again. There's that feeling again. And if it's a third time, it's like, right, I have to act on it literally there and then. So maybe you're in a similar boat where you're like, I just know this isn't working and I know I should get out, but I'm a little bit scared. Here's a little bit of advice from Melissa.
I know that this is always a bit of it can actually be a really sore subject with some people, because I know that some people haven't got maybe the best relationships with their agents. And I know that can be really hard. Like, I feel like the relationship with an agent is such a difficult one, because you're like, I don't know whether anybody else gets this, but like if you see your agent's name come up on your phone, right? Like the minute you see your agent's name come up on your phone, my agent's name has been coming up on my phone for the last 9 years, and my stomach still flips every single time. Like but we're so close. I think it takes time. These relationships take time, but if you can get to a place where you can really trust that they are making the right decisions, and that you can call upon them, it really does mean the world. But I'd say if you haven't got to that stage yet, don't get nervous about it. A couple of people rang me over lockdown actually and just said, I just, can I have your advice on what to do about my agent? I just feel like we're not getting on, or we're not. And I honestly, all I can say is that I sympathize with what, I can't necessarily empathize, because I know I'm very lucky, but I can imagine what that would be like to not. And I can imagine the little pit in your stomach when you do just want to have that really great relationship. And I just think, just keep working at it. Don't say things just because you think that's what they want to hear. Like, always be honest, but always go with a solution. I think I always go to Nikki. If I've got a problem, I always go with the solution, knowing that she will also have a solution. If anyone on here like is at a place where they're maybe just a bit like, oh God, are they looking for stuff for me? Do I get subbed for stuff? Do they have my best interest at heart? Chances are they will, but don't ignore that feeling. Just keep being able to kind of monitor it and check in with yourself, because I know that can take up a lot of headspace.
ActOnThis.tv. Once again, get your membership if you want to get access to the full chat with Melissa. But yeah, I thought what she said there was really interesting as well about being solution focused. That's what I love about Melissa's just like that in general, and the Disabled Artist Networking community that Melissa runs with Showreels Houston, who plays Izzy in Coronation Street. They run that together. Has a huge emphasis on being solution focused. There's one thing about saying, and a lot of actors do this in this industry, they're like, it's not fair, this isn't right, that isn't right, and they do nothing about it. All they do is bang the drum of the problem. Every tweet is a problem. They never offer a solution. So what Melissa said there about always being solution focused, and if you've got a problem with your agent, then take a solution to them, and they'll likely have a solution as well. But it just feels a lot better if you're going to them not just complaining. It's kind of like, listen, this isn't happening, but I've got an idea how we might be able to work better together, or get through the door of this casting director or that casting director or whatever. So, you can always be solutions focused. I think it's just best in life in general. But if maybe for years or last year you've been thinking, oh, this isn't working, listen to that voice. Chris, as my first agent, was very sketchy. I'm lucky now that I really get on with my agent and don't see myself leaving them for a long time. There's a lot of sketchy agents out there. This is the thing that people need to know when they first come into this industry as well. Is there anybody, because it's completely unregulated, yes, we've got equity, the union, which people should follow the equity guidelines of, and the pacts, contracts and all this sort of stuff. But ultimately, the acting industry is completely unregulated. So anybody within 10 seconds, well, maybe 10 minutes, can set up an Instagram account, can set up a Twitter account, and write in their bio, acting agent representing the best talent in the UK. Like, there you go. I mean, anyone could do that, and then actors who are not really well up on the industry, might see that and they're like, oh my God, they're an agent. They put them on this massive pedestal and just do exactly as they say. They end up signing with the first one, like I say, that will show them any interest at all, and they really haven't got a clue who are the decent agents and who aren't. So if you are new and you're watching this or you're listening and you need some advice, we've got a Facebook group, by the way, as well. Even if you're not a member of ActOnThis.tv, if you're not a paying member, you still get access to the Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV. If an agent ever approaches you and you want to get a bit of feedback on their rep, please post in the group. If an agent ever asks you to part with money, do not do it. If they're ever like, oh yeah, you can, we'll take you on, and it's a £50. Oh, it's bullshit, isn't it? It's a £50 admin fee to put you on our website, and then it's £150 for photos from this photographer that we make you have photographs with. Basically, they're earning all their money up front, so there's zero incentive to actually get you a job to earn money via your commission. There's a lot of sketchy agencies out there who are just like snake oil salesmen. So just be careful. If you want any feedback, we've got 10,000 quality actors in that Facebook group. Please post in the Facebook group and we'll give you genuine feedback. There's probably not an agency, a decent one in the industry that one of us, doesn't have sort of info on that can, we can fill you in with. So that was a second clip. And Stephen says, that's thanks for this, Ross, especially regarding being focused. Stephen Hastings. All right, Stephen Hastings. Yeah, but it's like being solutions focused in everything in life. Just always a better approach than just focusing on the problem. Talking of problems, this is actually I wanted to show this and share this. I went over kind of how I respond, not react, it's very different, how I respond, and I try to anyway, to respond to life when it punches me in the face. Mike Tyson had a famous quote. He said, everybody's got a plan until life punches them in the face. And I don't think there's a single person, I don't believe you, I think you're lying if you're saying you haven't been punched in the face by life. There's not a single person on this live on Facebook or listening on the replay or watching on the replay who has not had a plan about what they're going to do in the acting industry, and then boom, one day completely out of the blue, might be related to the acting industry, might not be. You've been punched in the face, your plans have changed, your agent's dropped you, you've gotten ill, there's a health crisis, a family crisis, something's happened, and you're like, right, okay, that's it. All my plans have gone out the window, feel completely demotivated, maybe I want to give up. And that can just happen in all walks of life. So I've been like properly obsessed with positive psychology and high performance science-backed positive psychology for the last, getting on for now, I forget how old I am, I'm so old, probably the last sort of like 12, 13, 14 years. And I was discussing with Melissa the sort of process that I go through when things are not going my way. And trust me, things do not always go my way. Please remember, when you were looking at, and it includes mine as well, try and sort of like be authentic and vulnerable on social media. But when you were looking at people's social media profiles, like there's so much bullshit out there. I had a meeting with a friend of mine last week actually, who, if you'd looked at his social media over the last 12 months, you'd have thought he was in the sort of the happiest, best place he's ever been in his life. And then we had a sit down for about 5 hours, and he's in a really good place, but God, there was so much going on during that last 12 months that I had no idea was going on behind the scenes. That was could not be more polar opposite to his personal, his sort of like public persona. What was going on in like backstage was so different to what he was showing front stage, and we all do that. So please don't compare your backstage to anybody's front stage. But when life does punch you in the face, here are my 3 steps that I try to use to sort of get through it and take control and get back on top as quick as possible. Have a watch and we'll discuss it. I'm just going to go through just a few steps, and I think the first step, and you just basically just like outlined this when you talked about MasterChef. If things aren't as you would like them to be, you have to, and this is for me, you have to take control. Okay, so you go, actually, you know what? I'm not going to be the victim. I'm not going to be like the person who's reactive in this situation. I'm going to be proactive in the situation. So you get a call to go, you're going to go on MasterChef, and you go, shit, I can't cook. So what did you do? You just said, you took control of the situation, and you went, right, I'm going to go on the BBC's website, and I'm going to cook.
And I'm going to learn.
What you may perceive as a weakness could well be your greatest strength. Now, for me, I'm losing my eyesight. I used to always hide it. Like your arm, I fucking wouldn't tell anybody about it. I'd think I'm not going to get jobs if I tell people about it. People are not going to want me to be in their shows, or like I'm going to be a hindrance. And it wasn't until I got the guts up and the courage up to go, actually, you know what? I'm going to ask for help, because my eyes have got to the point where I need it now. So I can't see my marks on the floor anymore. I need a beanbag. Can I have a beanbag on there? Why? Well, because I've got no peripheral vision. My eyes are failing me a little bit. It's dark in here, and I need to be able to feel my mark. And what was amazing is the second I started having those conversations, is no one rejected me. No one talked badly of me. No one didn't want to give me a job because of it. Actually, they were intrigued by it. They wanted to know more. And it was like they wanted to work with me more because of it than not because of it. What good is there in this situation that I cannot currently see? Ask yourself right now, how is this happening for me and not to me? And this just puts everything into perspective for you. And it goes like this. I don't have to, whatever the thing is that you might not want to do right now. I get to the thing that you don't want to do right now. What a privilege it is to da-da-da-da-da-da. So an example of this would be, I don't have to be an actor. I mean, this is the brutal reality of it, right? This is just the cold, hard truth. I get to be an actor. What a privilege it is to be able to choose my profession. Because I promise you, there are countries around the world where you don't get a choice. Boom. Right. So we'll have a little recap. I know that was there was quite a few things within those 3 steps. Let me know what you kind of think of this as well. The thing for me that I think is of most critical importance when it feels like life is spiraling away from me and sort of out of control, or I've been thrown a curveball that I was not expecting, is to stop the roller coaster effectively, pull the brake and go, stop, right, let's just take control of this situation for a second, all right? Because there is no point in focusing on what I can't control. I now have to focus on what I can control, okay? And that's generally just going to be what you can do to the end of your fingertips. All of us can really only fully control what's going on to the end of our fingertips, literally what we are doing in that situation. So that's sort of like the first thing that I always try and do. I'm always like, right, okay, what can I control in this situation, as opposed to focusing on what I can't. Try and let that stuff go. Second thing is, this is kind of about labels as well, because labels and language, the language that you use to sort of label I don't even want to call it a problem, it's just an outcome in your life, can really change the way that you tackle it. So rather than saying, for instance, I don't know, something's happened, there's a work date or something has been brought forward. You might have thought you had 3 days to get something done or learn some lines, and now it's like they brought my audition forward, I've got to do it tomorrow, I thought I had it on Friday. I don't know what I'm doing. How you sort of label that situation is really, really important. A lot of people use negative self-talk, and when you say, "Oh, how are you?" They'll instantly go to the negative, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm completely overwhelmed." And you've got to start choosing better language to describe your situation for you, not for other people. When you say, "I'm completely overwhelmed," your subconscious hears that. Your physiology feels it. It's awful, that feeling where you're like, oh God, you're so on edge because it's like, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, I've got that to do. I don't know what to start on. And you start doing one thing, and then it's like, oh God, as you're doing it, you're thinking, no, I should be doing this other thing first. So you flip to that, and you don't really get stuck into anything. I know that feeling really, really well. Rather than saying, I'm feeling massively overwhelmed, you can change that language into something like, well, actually, right now, I'm just blessed with opportunity. Oh, it just feels so much better. I felt it when I said it. How are you? I'm really good. I'm just, I'm blessed with opportunity right now. I've got lots of things to do, so many things to do, but super, super grateful for all the opportunity. My subconscious hears that. My physiology feels it in a much more positive way, as opposed to going, I'm completely overwhelmed. They actually kind of like describe the same situation, but they feel so completely different. It's like, I don't know, maybe you've got a cold, and it's like, oh, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling really run down. I'm suffering with a cold. You could describe that in a way, way more empowering situation. You could describe it in a far better way. I don't know, maybe something like, oh, how are you doing, Ross? Oh, I'm good. I'm just beating the cold right now. It's way, way more empowering than, oh, I feel like shit. Because if you say you feel like shit, who's had their vaccine? I've had my second one today in this arm. And I don't know if it's the same with all of them, but when you have the Pfizer one, they say, listen, you've got to go and sit down for 15 minutes because people can have an allergic reaction to it. So just make sure you feel okay for 15 minutes. Who else has gone into that room and almost like convinced themselves that they're feeling a bit weird? because your subconscious hears, oh yeah, allergic reaction. You think, shit, I don't want to be the one who's having an allergic reaction. Oh my God, what, are you feeling okay? Oh, maybe you're feeling a bit weird. Yeah, you're feeling a bit weird, aren't you? we just, your physiology, basically thoughts become things. Thoughts become feelings that become things in our lives. So that's the second point I've got there. Just language. And sometimes looking at relabeling what you are seeing as a weakness within you as a strength. I always used to look at my eye condition as a weakness. It's literally sort of like my Achilles heel. I've got a degenerative retinal condition, so I'm losing my eyesight. There's nothing I can do about it. There's no cure whatsoever. And I used to hide it from everybody, thinking no one's going to want to work with me. It's going to, maybe it'll affect insurance on a TV set, all this sort of stuff. Oh, I just can't tell anybody. And it used to get me into loads of trouble because people would misread me because they didn't know that I couldn't see from like my peripheral vision. So people would think I was ignoring them. People would think I was arrogant, all this sort of stuff. It's like, no, I actually just don't know you're there. So I started having to tell people, and particularly on a TV set, if the lighting wasn't good and stuff like that, I'd need a couple of extra rehearsals. But as soon as I started opening up and labeling this thing as like, a unique part of me, something, it's not a weakness. This is just part of who I am. And I'm owning it. The industry really started to own it with me and take some of that burden off me effectively and go, no, it's cool, Ross. If you're on set and you need some extra help or you need some extra stuff, not a problem. We will make it happen because everybody just wants the project to be as good as possible. So I stopped labeling that as a weakness. And you know what? There's still some days where it pisses me off, without a doubt. There's days where I'll walk outside and I'll fall over 3 fucking wet floor signs that are bright yellow. And people will laugh and go, oh my God, do you not even see that? And I'll have to laugh at it myself because it's funny. But there's still days where I kick myself because of it. I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, like it just it's annoying. But that's because I'm forgetting to look for the good in the situation, which comes on to the third thing there. Really empowering question to ask yourself whenever life is punching you in the face. What good is there in this situation that I cannot currently see? And I know it sounds completely counterintuitive because you'll be like, well, how, there's some situations that are really, really bad. How can I possibly look for the good in that, And I've done this myself around, like, when my dad died, I'm like, how can I look for good in this situation? But what's the alternative? The alternative is that you label that as a tragedy, you lose at the time, and then you continue to relive that loss again and again and again for the rest of your life, and then you die. So you've got to start relabeling these tragedies as gifts. Look at what good is there within that situation. Then that you are not currently seeing. I promise you, if you look hard enough, you will see that. And then you'll begin to start looking at life as happening for you and not to you. And that's a really empowering place to live from, where even if you are being challenged, and we're all challenged, like on micro challenges on a daily basis, and then occasionally you'll be thrown a macro massive challenge. But you've got to, ask yourself those empowering questions. How is this happening for me and not to me? How can I grow through this? What opportunity is there here to become better, to become more resilient, to grow more resilient, become more resilient, to develop stamina, and ultimately, come back stronger. Indra says he felt weird in the room after the vaccine. I wonder, Indra, if you'd convince yourself like I had that you're feeling weird. And then as soon as I was convincing myself that I was fine, I felt fine. It's so interesting how powerful our thoughts are. Our thoughts and your mindset, I promise you, is absolutely everything when it comes to your success in every single part of your life. Your physical health and your mental health. And your physical health is very often determined by your mental health. If you work on your mindset a lot, you work on motivation, you work on yourself and your fulfillment. That is obviously very often the thing that gets you up in the morning and gets you exercising, that works on your physical health, which feeds back into your mental health because you feel better about yourself, and the cycle goes on and on and on and on and on. But mindset really is freaking everything. And the last thing there sounds brutal, but it's what I put at the end of that little clip. The I don't have to, I get to game. And you can apply this again to every part of your life. Sometimes I'll catch myself moaning about things that really are privileges, that I'm like, oh God, I've got to go food shopping on Saturday night. Oh, I've got to go Sainsbury's. I cannot be arsed. Actually, I don't have to go shopping. I get to go shopping. What a privilege it is to be able to go and buy food as opposed to forage for it, hunt and kill things in order to eat. And it applies to the acting industry as well. So many actors torture themselves, like literally, like consciously put off their. It's bonkers when you think about it. We've all done this, consciously focusing on what is wrong with themselves, the industry, or what they perceive as wrong, the challenges, consciously putting off their own fulfillment. And the brutal reality of all of this, and you've got to remind yourself of this, is you don't have to do any of this at all. You don't have to be an actor. You get to be an actor. What a privilege it is to live in a world and a society where you get to choose the thing that you do for your career. You know, whether you're where you want to be now or not, you're working towards it or not. Because there are so many people who, one, don't have that privilege, or two, lost it today. You know, about 156,000 people, I think, across the world died, like who were awake yesterday, didn't wake up today. So they lost that privilege to choose what they want to do. So when we catch ourselves moaning about dumb shit, you've got to realize, you could be a bit brutal to yourself and go, no, you know what? You don't have to do any of this. You don't have to work out. You don't have to go to the gym. You get to go to the gym. What a privilege it is to have the physical ability to go and work out, because there's lots of people, and people within our community, within the Acts on This community, who do, you know, unfortunately were born with challenges, which mean that they do not get the privilege to work out in the same way that I do. You know, there's people with all kinds of physical disabilities, you know, who would, I'm sure, you know, love to go and have a workout in the way that a lot of people can work out. And there are ways everybody, I'm sure, you know, can work out, you know, in their own way that suits them. But sometimes, again, we moan about dumb shit, and then it's like, oh my God. I listened to a podcast this morning, great podcast, and a doctor was talking about going to medical school with this other doctor, and she was apparently an amazing person, and she would, you know, like really very, very selfless, and I think she's only 21, and would spend like her summers vaccinating, you know, people before COVID, and vaccinating people in foreign countries, you know, during her spare time and stuff, and really was just all about giving and giving other people health. And she was diagnosed with a really aggressive form of leukemia at like 20 years old, but still went through med school while she was having treatment, and like sat her exams in isolation and all this sort of stuff, and looked like things were getting back on track. And it came back really aggressively, you know, and she died a couple of weeks later. And this was a woman who had like all the potential in the world and was going to do so much good, giving other people health who lost hers. Through no fault of her own whatsoever. So again, it's just about perspective sometimes, and going, right, I don't have to do any of this. I get to do this thing we call life. You know, what I love, and this, I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, none of you have to be here. None of you watching live, watching on the replay, listening on the replay, have to. You know, you get to, but I'm grateful that you've chosen to, you know, that you've chosen to hang out. So yeah, how is life happening for you? What good is there in the situation that you cannot currently see? And remember, you don't have to do any of it. You get to do all of it. So they were just the three things that I try and focus on. And I'm not brilliant all the time, but following my own advice, to be honest, I don't think any of us are. It's a lot easier to tell people how to deal with their problems than it is to deal with your own a lot of the time. But that's why we've got an amazing community, so everybody supports each other. The last clip that I'm going to play, I don't know if Helen's here. Let's have a look. No, it was Joe. This was Joe. This was Joe, isn't it? Helen was last week. So I think this is your clip, Joe, where you were talking about coming back into the industry after a little bit of a break. Is there anyone else here who's coming back into the industry after a little bit of a break? I'd love to know, because this is another thing that I get emailed about a lot, where people are hung up on, I've been out for a few years, maybe I've had a family, maybe I've took a different career path for a little while, I was, you know, I kind of like felt a bit disillusioned with the acting industry, I left for a bit to try something else, and I've realised that I can't leave it, I'm in love with it, and it's dragged me back in. Sometimes, you know, people really overthink that. And again, it's almost like imposter syndrome all over again. They probably had it when they got into the industry initially, and then they're feeling it again. Sarah, I went to, so me and Sarah at drama school together, saying, yeah, long break, but you've got to start taking action. The quicker you start taking action, the quicker you're back on the horse. And this sounds like really simple advice that Melissa's giving here in this clip, but this really is all you need to get going again. And it all comes down literally to just one quality piece of showreel footage. But here's Melissa having a little chat, and we'll discuss this again in a sec.
I've taken a break. I've been a speech and drama teacher, Lambda teacher. That's all drying up, and I do other bits of work. That's all drying up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to really put it all out there and come back in. I've had a break of about 12 years, we think. I've done some little bits. I've been in Born and Bred. I've done Da Vinci Code. I've done a film. Nice. And it's just kind of, how do I collaborate all of that to go to everybody? I'm here.
I really would suggest going to a showreel company and getting a showreel done where they write the scene for you. Yeah. It is just so important to have that 2 minutes of footage. That will give you your thing. Yeah. That will give you something to write off to, right? You know, earlier how we were saying about have your thing that gives you a reason to write off to people, and your showreel will be the first thing. And then in that email, that's when you can start to craft how you want people to see you, basically. So I started to learn what was going to be my way in. Was I going to crack a little joke? I remember my little way in used to be like, hi, my name's Melissa Johns. I'm a disabled actor, was born without my right hand and forearm, which means that I get to have half-price manicures and can afford to lose the other glove. So I tried stuff out. I changed it up a little bit, but getting that showreel will give you the content to start emailing off to people. Yeah. And in those emails, just really work out what your little thing's going to be, and you'll just get more and more confident with it. Like, the more replies I got from the way I dealt with it, I was like, oh, people like it when I do that. I'll think of it. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say we talked earlier about not worrying about, jumping in the ocean just yet, just doing those steps leading up to it. And I'd honestly say for you, try and get that showreel scene done, and then get that mail out and really craft that first email.
ActOnThis.tv to unlock the full chat, get your membership. But I love the way Melissa takes the mick out of herself as well, which is great as well. Half price manicures. But that was her thing, that was, that little bit of humor and stuff was the thing that made her, sort of stand out in her emails and stuff. You will have your hook. You will have a thing. If you look hard enough, you will find something that is your unique selling point that you can then leverage within your email content. But the point about showreels is this, and again, I know I bang on about this all the time, and I'm like a broken record, but there are only so many ways that work in terms of getting seen and getting noticed, and the best way to get noticed is to be good and to show people you are good, and the only way you're going to do that is through a decent showreel scene. And a lot of actors I've seen people honestly waste 2-3 years of their life getting involved with, and there's nothing wrong with it at all, it's great experience, but loads of free stuff, student films, this, that, and the other, and that's great for experience. But the thing that is the big issue with that is you are dependent then on them doing a good job of the edit, getting it done on time, not losing the footage that I've heard loads and loads of times, giving you the footage. Some people do something, they go, oh, this hasn't worked out how I want, it's never getting out there. And you might have waited 4, 5, 6 months. I see some people waiting nearly a year for shit. And they're like, oh yeah, no, as soon as I get my footage back, I've just done this short film. And I'm like, again, you are giving up control. You are giving all your control to other people. Now, I know it's quite expensive, to get somebody like Chris Stone to shoot you a showreel scene from scratch that is custom made and written for you, that fits you like a glove and is perfect. He's shot beautifully, incredibly crisp, beautiful audio, looks broadcast quality. It'll cost you about 400 quid. But one job, one line on Coronation Street will earn you more than 400 quid. So if you can shoot, you're generally gonna start off in this industry with your first few credits on serial drama, shows like Corrie, shows like Hollyoaks, shows like Emmerdale. If you can shoot a scene that shows you off brilliantly, is beautiful, your performance is great, and it's aligned with one of those shows, you can make your money back very quickly if you market yourself properly and you really understand yourself and your casting type and where you fit into the industry. So it can honestly save you years and years of mucking about, because I also see people wait for that footage for ages and they're so disappointed when they get it. They don't send it out anyway. You just waited 15 months for this bullshit. and I can do nothing with it at all. So if you can, start saving up. So I promise you, you know what? When I bought this apartment, when I moved out with my mum's a few years ago, because I'm an actor, the bank made me put down literally my entire life savings on this apartment, right? I mean, I had, by the time because I had to do the place up a bit and buy furniture and all this sort of stuff, by the time I moved in here, I remember lying in bed the first week thinking, holy shit. I went from having a load of money in the bank to having like 2 mortgage payments, about 600 quid. And I thought, oh my God, I have never been in this position for many, many years, because I just saved up. I was living at home for ages. I didn't want to throw money away on rent, and I just saved up for years and years and years to get a deposit. I didn't really enjoy giving that deposit away, even though that was what it was for. I was like, oh no, I feel like I've got nothing again. And I looked around my room at home and I went, right, I've got all this shit and I don't use any of it. And it looks like junk that I'd probably throw away, but I'm going to put it all on eBay. And this was stuff that was like old computer games from 15 years ago. Like, I think I had a mini disc player. If you remember mini disc, I don't even know if does anyone remember mini disc? Let me know. Put a yes in the chat if you remember mini disc. Sony came out with them. They were like, it was like one up from a cassette, or like, it came out, I think, even after CD though, but it never took off. Completely obsolete. Like, I would literally just throw it in the bin, go, nah, forget it. I put it all on eBay. And I made about nearly 1,200 quid from what basically I was going to throw away moving out of my mum's. So have a look. Nick says, oh yes, he remembers mini disc, and Kerry says she had those. I promise, if you're like, I've got no money for Showreel, I've got no money for a Spotlight membership, I can't afford Act on this. Act on this is 6 quid a week, guys. I promise you are probably spending more than that on coffee or some other nonsense you don't need in your life. When you could get access to the biggest names in the industry every single week. So you've got to kind of assess what you're throwing money away on, or just sell some shit. I promise you've got stuff in your house that you are never going to use again, that you think is worthless, but it's your junk, it's someone else's treasure. Someone else will pay you good money for that. I can't tell you like how crap some of this stuff was. Penelope remembers minidisc as well, and Saffron does as well. I had a minidisc when backpacking. They were actually wicked technology. I thought I was so cool. I was going to drama school in the morning with my minidisc player, playing Craig David on my minidisc. I thought I was like the Don. But yeah, I promise you've probably got a load of crap around you that, you could basically, even if it's just a couple of $100, you can put to one side and go, right, I've got 200 quid, I'm going to find another actor who needs a showreel scene. We're going to put 200 quid in each. That's our 400 quid to get Chris Stone to write and shoot us something that's custom for both of us. And then leverage that. It will get you back into this industry quick, as opposed to going, well, I've got some footage from 10 years ago, and it's like, really grainy old standard definition footage from 2001 that just looks bobbins compared to the stuff that's going out, in 2021. It will give you that enthusiasm. It will, you'll hopefully really like your performance. Don't over analyze your performance. A lot of people do that. And you'll be proud to send it out. You'll be like, right, I feel like I'm back in the game straight away. So if you are, you've been away for a while and you're looking to get back in, I promise you, just one 2-minute showreel scene is enough to pique a casting director's interest, enough to give you a shot at a self-tape that could change your career forever. And Joe remembers minidisc. My dad worked for Sony. No way, Joe. No freaking way. Joe was getting discounted minidisc players because they were bloody dear, Joe. I wish I'd have known you back then. I'd have been like, right, are we getting some discount or what? Right, so they were the clips that I wanted to play. I can't believe it's 5 to 10. This has gone so quick. Thursday night, right? If you're not a member of Act On This, actonthis.tv/live, give this freaking community a chance. I promise you, get a month's membership. It'll cost you 24 quid for the full month. You're going to get 4 sessions with the biggest names in the game. One a week. You get a 2-hour mastermind session with a top casting director, a top agent, a top actor, writer, producer, director. You get 2 coaching sessions with me. You get a meet-up on Zoom on the first Saturday of every month. That's 7 sessions for 24 quid. Most people in this industry will charge you a minimum of 20 quid for one. I'm going to give you 7 for 24. And this Thursday's session, 7:30 p.m, is going to be freaking incredible. Olivier award-winning actor, writer, director, Mr. Andy Nyman, author of two of the best acting books you will ever read in your life. It's called The Golden Rules of Acting That No One Ever Tells You. And he released this. I didn't even know this was out. This came out during the pandemic. More Golden Rules of Acting that nobody ever tells you. These are just two of the best books in the industry. Just they don't teach you how to act, nothing like that. They just teach you, basically, they're so in alignment with what we do on actonthis.tv. It's all about the business of the business. And these books are sort of promoted by some of the biggest names in the game. Simon Pegg's written in the front here, Christians have the Bible, now actors have this book. At least everyone is happy. Neil Patrick Harris, Andy's distilled guidebook is smart, hilarious, and just might get you work. Keely Hawes, like having a friend in your pocket. Supremely practical, wise, reassuring, inspiring, and funny. Chock full of good humour and good sense. I was crying when I was reading some of the things out before that are in this book. It's brilliant. Where's Liam Neeson's... I don't know if Liam Neeson's review is in here, but it's some of the biggest names in the freaking game. I'm going to be giving away 10 copies of, 5 copies of each book as well to 5 members on the call. I don't know how we're going to give them away yet, but they're so good. I'm going to buy 10 people a copy. Here is Andy. You'll know him from, all kinds of incredible TV shows, film, theatre. He worked with Derren Brown, still does for years, writing and producing some of Derren's biggest TV shows. He's just an incredible guy. Big on mindset. I just know this is going to be an all-time session that if you miss, I just think you're missing out massively. Here's a little bit about what is going to be going down. Actors, it's another week, but it's not just another actonthis.tv Zoom session. I've got an invite for you to what is going to be an incredible actonthis.tv Zoom session. It's taking place on Thursday, the 22nd of July at 7:30 p.m. with this absolute legend here, star of so many incredible shows. Things like Peaky Blinders, ITV's Unforgotten, Amazon's Hannah, Dead Set, dozens and dozens and dozens more. It's actor, director, writer, author, the Olivier award-winning Andy Nyman. Andy, I'm so excited about this, mate. What are we going to be chatting about on Thursday?
Okay, very nice to be with you. I'm really looking forward to it. We are going to chat about basically a lot of the stuff that I've poured into Golden Rules and More Golden Rules, my books, which is I've made a living and survived as an actor for over 30 years. I've managed to keep my head together with all the ups and downs, all of the failures, all of the successes, all the things you think are going to be successes but are failures. And we'll just talk about how to survive, how to stay proactive. And one of the big things I'll also talk about is how just changing your mindset. I'll give a couple of tips that have literally transformed how I think about things, and they're sort of instant fixes that sound so simple but have been life changers for me.
I freaking cannot wait. Actors, if you want to get involved in this, you want to literally jump on camera, have a little one-to-one with Andy, come just get involved in the chat. Get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of how you can get involved in this session and all future sessions. We do it every single week on a Tuesday or a Thursday night. Andy, a little bit of pressure on you. Why don't actors want to miss this session in particular?
Well, I have to put it back on you. I'm a little bit disconcerted. You said freaking.
Oh,
so that makes me feel like no swearing. So to be honest, if there's no swearing and you come, I'm fucked. So hopefully I'll see you then.
There's going to be loads of swearing. Be there. actonthis.tv/live. Go grab your seat, actonthis.tv/live. You won't just get access to that chat. You will get, for your monthly membership, you will get another 3 of those. We've got Colleen Crawford, incredible casting director, one of the biggest casting directors in TV, the week after. We've got a cocktails and conversation evening, actually, the week after that. We've got casting director Jessica Jeffries on the week after that. I'm not going to tell you anymore. Basically, we just got some incredible guests coming up, and obviously you'll get you get group coaching calls with me and the community. You get a monthly meetup. You get an app so you can take in the entire back catalogue on your iPhone or Android. actonthis.tv/live. Just try it. If you've been on the fence for ages, fricking try it. I promise you, it will change your outlook on this industry, your life, and your career. It's already gone 10 o'clock. This has gone so fast tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Really means the world. And let's see what else is going down in the chat. Penelope says, Andy says, be happy, you'll get more work. You know, it's just true. Very basic advice. But, it's hard to just go, be happy, be happy. It's like, well, actually, when life's punched me in the face, how can I be happy? But that's going back to what we were talking about before. What good is there in the situation that I cannot currently see, how is this happening for me, not to me? How can I be grateful? How can I focus on the solution? How can I be, really thankful for what I have rather than what I don't have? You've got to look for the good in every situation. It's a privilege to be here, Ross says Josh. Josh, thank you, mate, for hanging out. But yeah, that's happening Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. at toughness.tv/live if you want to get involved. Come join the community. We've literally got, honestly, the best, haven't we? Those people who are part of it, because there's loads of you on here who are. We've got the best acting community on earth. I mean, like the most positive, motivated, inspiring community of actors I've ever known in my life, to be honest with you, who actually celebrate each other's success. And I'm just seeing like Sandra in the chat here talking. I don't know who you were talking to, Sandra, before. It's Zoe, I think. And there's even people like, networking on the chat on Facebook now and supporting each other and going, DM me if you want to talk. And we've just got the best people. So yeah, come get involved. Come be part of the family. If I can do anything for you, drop me a tweet at Act on This TV at Ross A. Grant. That's my personal account as well. We'll be live 7:30 p.m. With Andy on Thursday evening. Have I got anything to play you on the way out? What have I got to play you? Do you know what? I don't think I've actually got anything new to play you. Normally I'd line up an extra piece of video to end on. I've got. Do you know what? I'm going to play out again. I'm going to play out my three steps again. I know I played this before, but people might have missed it. Again, just have a little listen to the phrases I use in this, the questions that you can ask yourself. If you're going through a bit of shit right now, and you know what, we all are. There's not a single person on here who's not facing something in their life, literally right now. I know you all are. There's something in your life that is challenging you, that is a bit of a battle, myself included, that it's like, the stuff that you're going to see in this clip again just applies to everybody and can really help you get out of the hole you might be sinking into. Andrea says just sing as a song like Morecambe and Wise. Andrea, after, you know what, on the Cocktails and Conversation evening we do in a few weeks time, 2 weeks time, I think, maybe 3 weeks time, they're always raucous. We'll have some singing on that, some karaoke. Chris Everett normally crashes the party and gets very drunk and sings for us, so we'll sort that out. So until then, thanks ever so much. Here's 3 steps to think about when life punches you in the face, and I'll see you Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Lots of love, everybody. Until then, bye for now. I'm just going to go through just a few steps, and I think the first step, and you've just basically just like outlined this when you talked about MasterChef. If things aren't as you would like them to be, you have to, and this is for me, you have to take control. Okay, so you go, actually, you know what? I'm not going to be the victim. I'm not going to be like the person who's reactive in this situation. I'm going to be proactive in the situation. So you get a call to go, you're going to go on MasterChef, and you go, shit, I can't cook. So what did you do? You just said, you took control of the situation and you went, right, I'm going to go on the BBC's website and I'm going to cook.
And I'm going to learn.
What you may perceive as a weakness could well be your greatest strength. Now, for me, I'm losing my eyesight. I used to always hide it. Like your arm, I fucking wouldn't tell anybody about it. I'd think I'm not going to get jobs if I tell people about it. People are not going to want me to be in their shows, or like I'm going to be a hindrance. And it wasn't until I got the guts up and the courage up to go, actually, you know what? I'm going to ask for help, because my eyes have got to the point where I need it now. So I can't see my marks on the floor anymore. I need a beanbag. Can I have a beanbag on there? Why? Well, because I've got no peripheral vision. My eyes are failing me a little bit. It's dark in here and I need to be able to feel my mark. And what was amazing is the second I started having those conversations is no one rejected me. No one talked badly of me. No one didn't want to give me a job because of it. Actually, they were intrigued by it. They wanted to know more. And it was like they wanted to work with me more because of it than not because of it. What good is there in this situation that I cannot currently see? Ask yourself right now, how is this happening for me and not to me? And this just puts everything into perspective for you. And it goes like this. I don't have to, whatever the thing is that you might not want to do right now. I get to the thing that you don't want to do right now. What a privilege it is to da-da-da-da-da-da. So an example of this would be, I don't have to be an actor. I mean, this is the brutal reality of it, right? You know, this is just the cold, hard truth. I get to be an actor. What a privilege it is to be able to choose my profession, because I promise you, there are countries around the world where you don't get a choice.